And disclaimer, I have not played this build before. I have not played this at all. So it's gonna be a learning experience for me, but I'm just calling things as I see them in terms of here's what I would think about doing. So my opinions or ideas will change over time, but I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be making YouTube videos as like a build diary so people can kind of see how I progress my character in a solo self-found environment from start to finish. All right, so in terms of leveling, when you're doing Armageddon Brand Cremation, you're gonna start with Rolling Magma. You're gonna start with Rolling Magma with Holy Flame Totem and Flame Wall. And the node priority, you're just gonna go through here. You're gonna go up here, grab these spell damage nodes. By the time you get here, you're gonna want to have this life. And then these nodes are just good for res, like Act 1 res. These nodes down here, very high value. Very high value. Then from here, like I said, you're gonna be doing Rolling Magma. So we're gonna go up through here. This gives you damage. You come up here, grab some life because you're gonna need the life. Then we're gonna make our way over here to Explosive Impact because that's also more damage. But along the way, we're gonna grab Elemental Overload. So as a reminder, the way that Elemental Overload works is when the skill that you're using crits, it puts a little diamond on the skill bar that tells you you're getting this 40% more elemental damage with that skill. So you want to be on the lookout for that. But for all intents and purposes, you won't have to micromanage it. It's just good to know, is this working? And you can tell it's working because on your skill bar, like right here on the Frostblink, it would be at the bottom. So from here, come through here, grab the fire damage. You want to go up through this way to get more cast speed. Cast speed's very important for leveling. And then high value node, the crits don't inherently ignite, and then increase damage with hits against ignited enemies. So you want to make sure that before you get this node or this mastery, you want to make sure that you have some amount of ignite chance on your skills. So when you're using Armageddon Brand, you can use Ellie Prolif. So Ellie Prolif, you'll get this as a level 4 gem reward in Act 1. Make sure to grab this because this will give you 20% ignite, and that will allow you to use this. By the time you get here on the tree, you're going to have that node. So just make sure you grab that. And then from here, you have a couple of options. If you're feeling squishy, you're going to go here and grab the life. But if you're fine and you want to go a little bit faster, grab this wheel right here. So Spiritual Command puts these attack cast speed nodes, they apply to your character as well. It's a good use of skill points. So from here, come around here, grab life, and then we're gonna make our way down here. We're gonna come up through this bottom half because once again, the Spiritual Command is gonna give us attack cast speed. So these nodes and then this one will also apply to us. And then we'll grab Spiritual Aid so that the minion damage nodes will also apply to us. This is high value and this is high value. For 2 points, this is 36% increased damage. It's very good. And then from here, we're gonna come down here, grab the elemental damage nodes, come on the bottom. Once again, you'll get more ignite chance, and then grab Divine Judgment. And then in a mastery, feel free to grab this immediately. You don't have to wait for it. So, and then from here, you're kind of free to do whatever you want. So the other options that you want to go through are coming down through here, grabbing the life nodes here, more res, more damage, more dex and attack cast speed. Rune Binder, because we're going to be using Armageddon Brand. This will improve a little bit of single target damage and to 1 point. Then also come up here to grab Heart of Flame. Once again, it's just more damage. Feel free to grab the mana with mana reservation efficiency. You're gonna need some amount of mana reservation efficiency. In terms of auras, Arctic Armor is kind of optional, and Grace is interchangeable. you can interchange Grace with Haste or something like that. I'm just going to be using Herald of Ash and Grace all the way through. But Arctic Armor, that's optional if you feel like your mana doesn't feel good. So other options, you can grab these reservation nodes, but it's not required. So this at this point, 71 points invested. You should be at Act 10. You should be at Act 10. This is where we're going to be farming Lancing Steel of Spraying and also Holy Relic of Conviction. So that's the leveling plan. Now let's take a look at Holy Relic of Conviction, because I haven't actually done any research on what the trees look like. So what we're gonna do when you're doing some research on a build, outside of looking at popular streamer build guides, like one good way to do it is look at Baylor Mage. Baylor Mage has a build guide for this, right? But if you want to see what somebody has done last league, you can just go on PoE Ninja, select the last league, and then I generally try to look at the solo self-found league, because then I'll be working with people who have generally limited resources, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, all the builds have Mage Blood and stuff like that. So we're gonna look for Holy Relic of Conviction, summon Holy Relic of Conviction, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the time machine. So this time machine is very, very powerful to get an understanding of like, oh, how did people even get to where they are? Because I can guarantee you if you click this guy, he's probably got a Mage Blood, even though he's in a solo self-found. Okay, he doesn't have a Mage Blood, so that's fine. But he's got a 6 link, he's got cluster jewels, he's got a billion Ghastly Eye jewels, he's got some unique jewels, so it's like this is not gonna be extremely helpful for you in terms of trying to figure out what you want to do with the build. But if you instead use the time machine and look at the latest snapshot, you can take a look and see what people were doing to get to that point. So I'm a big fan of just clicking the week 1 snapshot and then checking to see somebody who's around level 90 or so. Like, because this guy is level 97, this guy's blasting. He's probably got everything. Yeah, so like by week 1, he's got everything. Amada Moves and all this stuff. So, but generally around level 90, the people who are playing solo self-found won't have like all the good stuff. Like this guy's got some Abyss jewels, so it's clear that they went into Abyss on their Atlas passive tree. But if you take a look at their tree is mainly defense. So they kept all the minion nodes from the tree, and then they grabbed a whole bunch of defense nodes and jewels for their Abyss jewels. So this is most likely what we're gonna do. As I'm playing this build, I'm gonna be taking snapshots of my POB, but this is a good idea, because since we're minions, there's only so many minion nodes that are on the tree. Now, the most important part will be the minion offense mastery, because next league, this accuracy rating mastery, it will change from accuracy rating to cooldown reduction. And for Holy Relic of Conviction, you're going to want to hit a couple of cooldown breakpoints. So it's similar to cast on crit. So the first breakpoint's 14%, second one is 30%. For cast on crit, it's actually 52%, but the second one for Holy Relic is 30%, and then the third one is 52%. So basically, when we get the first mastery, we'll have that first breakpoint, because we'll have 20% cooldown recovery for minion skills, or minions will have 20% cooldown recovery, and that'll cover that first breakpoint. The second breakpoint, you're going to want to get 10 quality on your gem, and you can do that once you get your gem. You can do that in Merc Lab. You can run like the average quality increase in a Merc Lab is 4%. So you just run 3 Merc Labs, and you'll get 12% at minimum on your gem, and that'll put you over the 30% cooldown recovery breakpoint. I'm not sure if that breakpoint is too important, because all the research that I've been seeing is people are talking a lot about that 52% breakpoint. And so we'll be able to get that 52% breakpoint without Dialas by getting an enhanced gem. Enhance is pretty common of the exceptional gems, but we're just, you know, playing solo self-found. We're going to be gambling on hopefully getting an exceptional gem. If you're playing Trade League, you know, you just go for the Dialas. You're just going to go for the Dialas. 52 is nice quality of life. Yeah, it's just a lot more damage. Those were probably 52 and 82, aiming 128. Yeah, that's what Balor Mage. That's what Balor Mage put. Is 52% being the breakpoint that you want. But when you're playing solo self-found, you're not going to be able to get Dialas, and so the most amount of CDR you will have for your minion outside of corruptions and exceptional gems will be 40%. Your other options to get the remaining 12, other than Dialas, are ashes. So it's like you gotta be very lucky to get an ashes, and then a Dialas or an exceptional gem. So let's keep looking. Let's keep looking at other people's trees. So I'm just gonna click next. Like I said, we're at level 90, so it'll put us on the next person. This guy's a Hierophant, but their tree is also very similar. These are crit nodes. What are these? He got minion crit nodes, so that's an interesting choice. But at the end of the day, the tree is still very similar. They're just getting defense and keeping the minion nodes. So this is all life. This is max res. This is block stuff. Grave Pact will change. It grants chaos res instead of minion accuracy. So this is not going to be super useful. So we're not going to be going for Grave Pact. Though the double damage is pretty nice. Right? So let's keep going. So yeah, once again, they just have, these are all the minion nodes, more minion nodes, and then just defense, 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 defense. There's the Grave Pact again. There's a Jewel Socket defense, Jewel Socket defense, more defense, more defense. No, this is, they're doing Golem stuff. Is there any Elementalist? No, they're a Necromancer. It's not sure why they're doing Golem stuff. Do they have a Carry-On Golem in here? No, they got a Chaos Golem. Golem's grant, oh yeah, that's a good one. Damage over time multiplier. Does that apply to your minions? I don't think it does it? Or does it count as an aura? Let's see. It grants you damage over time. So no, it doesn't. This does not work with your minions. It's not very useful. So probably not going the Golem Commander. This guy's using hybrid flasks too. Interesting. And then what else? Look at all these minion jewels. But yeah, once again, minion damage, minion nodes, defense, 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 defense. What is this? Defense, defense. Look at these guys. Look at these guys' flasks. Holy. Small flask, medium flask, large flask. What a gamer. But yeah, once again, just defense and stuff. So, and then in terms of gearing, if you're in Trade League, you'll be able to get Joffrey's Crest for like 2 chaos. Joffrey's Crest, and then we go back. Even on League Start, look at the League Start price. It actually wasn't that expensive, even right on League Start. The most it costed was 3C. Because this is not a rare helmet. Even in solo self-found, I am expecting to find like 7 of these things. I'm expecting to find like 7 of these things when I'm in solo self-found. So at any point in time, keep a live search out, look for the Joffrey's Crest helmet, because you're gonna need that. It's not important right away because you don't have Holy Relic. Like I said, I'm gonna be leveling as Armageddon Brand Cremation, but you're gonna want this right away. And then in terms of weapons, the only thing that we're interested in on a weapon early on is attack speed and the trigger craft, which you're going to get in Act 9. Later on, you're going to want to use essences. You're going to want to use essences of fear on a sword, because you're going to need a sword to trigger your holy relics using Lancing Steel of Spraying. So you're going to need a sword for that. And in order to get minion damage on the sword, you're going to need essences of fear. So don't even worry about Don't even worry about the weapon when you swap over right away when you're using Holy Relic of Conviction. Just get a sword, make sure it has some attack speed, and then craft the trigger socketed spell when you use a skill once you get that craft on Act 9. Because you're just going to put your Desecrate in there and then your offering, which is going to be a bone offering for defense. So putting the curse on there, that's kind of ballsy because this is going to make your curse cost like 1 billion mana. So be careful with putting your curse in there. If it feels bad in terms of your mana cost, just take the curse out and self-cast it on bosses or tanky enemies. So, but other than that, every other slot, at least early on, is just going to be life and res. It's going to be life and res. Try to prioritize getting a bone shield or a minion shield just for more damage. So if you get a bone shield drop, grab it. It's probably going to have some minion nodes on there. A bone ring probably be pretty good. Once again, we're just looking for damage on there. And then everything else is life and res. Try to spec into Abyss. Abyss is going to be kind of spooky early on, but you're going to want to get Abyss jewels as soon as possible because that's where you're going to be getting more minion damage. You're going to need some amount of poison chance, which you can only really get on the jewels. So most people will be running poison chance on their supports for Holy Relic, but you're going to need to shore up that poison chance with your jewels. So they're not rare, and they're actually pretty easy to roll. If you just do harvest and do harvest reroll, I think chaos works, right? So yeah, if you want to get this, all you would need to do is do harvest reroll chaos. Pretty sure that's yellow juice. Yeah, it's yellow juice. It's 100 yellow juice. It's kind of an expensive craft. But if you just focus on getting yellow juice as much as possible, because you're going to need a lot of poison chance. But if you look, there's not very many chaos mods. There's flat added chaos damage, which is good. Avoid being poisoned is bad, but the weighting is low, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Chaos res, super low. That's going to be nice in general, so even if you were to get that yourself, probably put that on. But then the chance to poison is 400 weight. So, and you can sim this too. Like, one way to do it is you can just sim this. Go jewels. We'll go Ghastly Eye jewels. Doesn't matter the level. And my only condition is a suffix. Minions have a chance to poison enemies on hit, on failure loop, and then harvest crafting, harvest reforge, chaos, and then we'll just go ahead and sim this. So, maybe it's 1 in 8. For every 8 hits, you will get a poison on maybe every 10. So that's one way that you can use. It's like, oh, how hard is it going to be to craft this thing? Is just use the sim. So it's gonna be like a 1 in 10. So what that means is for every 1,000 yellow juice, you should expect to get 1 poison jewel. In an ideal world, you're gonna have 100% chance to poison. So just be on the lookout for that. You're gonna have like 4 jewel sockets. You're gonna have chance to poison support. That's already gonna have 40% chance to poison. And the most that the poison mod can run is 15%, I believe. Yeah, up to 15%. So if you get 4 perfect 15%, then you'll have 100% chance to poison. In my experience, because I've done poison minion builds before, once you hit about 70%, it starts feeling pretty good. It'll feel all right even with just the poison chance support, but once you get a couple of poison chance jewels, it'll start feeling really good in terms of the poison DPS. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's going to be the only plan, the only thing that we're going to be doing for the league start. The hardest part in Solo Self-Found is going to be farming for the support gems. That's going to take the most time. I'm hoping I get lucky early. I'm hoping I can tap into that streamer RNG. In terms of Ascendancy order, early on your normal lab, just grab Commander of Darkness. You're not gonna use this long term, but this gives you damage and res. This makes things really nice for leveling. So grab Commander of Darkness right away. Eventually you're gonna respec out of it. So, and then Plague Bringer's probably going to be your next choice, because once again we're still gonna be playing Armageddon Brand Cremation. And then maybe Corpse Pact as your Merc lab, just so that you can farm Transfigured gems. Now, once you are done, once you're done doing your Transfigured gem farming, you're going to want to respec out of these. You're going to want to respec out of Commander of Darkness and basically out of all of these. You're going to want to get Unholy Might, because this way you'll be able to scale your chaos damage on your minions. In terms of poison, it takes the physical damage hit and also the chaos damage hit to apply to poison damage. The Holy Relic damage is physical, so it's not like converting the damage to chaos is going to give you more damage, but it will make it a little bit easier to scale. Plus you'll have the chance to apply Wither on hit. And then your Merc lab on the respec is going to be Mistress of Sacrifice. You're gonna need this for defense. You intend to have a lot of gold, don't you? Yeah. So when doing the respec, you're already going to have like 20 respec points from leveling, right? And respecing these nodes is 5 per. So you'll be able to respec all of your Ascendancies -2, and then you could use gold for the rest. And GGG did say that they were buffing gold costs. So the way that this tree is set up, you are not going to need to do too many respecs to go into the minion stuff. You're gonna eventually unspec these nodes. You're gonna come through here, and then you're gonna unspec these nodes. Now you keep that, unspec this, and and then you're gonna go through here. We're getting rid of these spell damage nodes, because once you're a minion build, you are not going to need your own spell damage. And you're going to grab that. So, and then you're gonna unspec that. You're gonna unspec that and that. Or I mean, you're gonna grab these and then you're gonna unspec that. These two small nodes are very high value. Once you get to the point where you feel like you are defensive enough, you will want to, at bare minimum, keep these tiny little 16% damage nodes. They're actually very good for minion build. So, but I'm not doing the full Holy Relic of Conviction tree. I'll likely do that. I'll do that live, and then once I do like a build diary, I'll show you guys what I did on the tree. But that's basically it. Any questions? Chat. Archon, do you have any stat issues when you switch to Holy Relic? Have very low dex to the point where equipping a melee weapon was challenging. So when it comes to the weapon with Holy Relic, like I said before, the weapon is not important early on. So just go to Act 1 and grab a sword. You don't need high dex requirement for just a random sword you can buy from an Act 1 vendor. So yeah, do not worry about the stat requirements on a sword, because you will not need high stat requirements at any point. Just go to the Act 1, grab a sword. Even when you're level 90, you can just use a level 1 sword, because you are mainly going to be using that Essence of Fear to craft your sword, which does not care about your sword item level.